and it's going to be green light racing here at Monza. Here goes Noah. He's going to try and go wheel to wheel with the leader. Vic, once again, back on the top step. We did say take it easy. Oh my goodness. Sinead's going to go for it here into 14, 15. Side by side, is it going to be Mercedes or is it going to be a BMW?
Hello and welcome back to Phoenix Sim Sports for Season 16 of the TCR Championship. And today you join us here for Round 5 at Brands Hatch. We are halfway through the season and what a circuit to kick off. Well, I say to kick off the last half of the season, to end the first half of the season, I should say. My name is Yanis and I'm joined as always by Arthur in the commentary box up here. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Well, I'm doing great. Another race at Brands Hatch, this time with touring cars, which this track is very familiar with via the British Touring Car Championship. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing some great battles here today.
Absolutely, and of course we've got the championship battle still on between Marcel Miku and the rest of the grid. He is pretty much the unstoppable man right now, even though he's not necessarily won every race. He's had some stiff competition this season, especially compared to last season, and considering the qualifying standings at the moment, on that qualifying board, TCR Sklias is one of those drivers to pose a significant challenge, as is Jack Smith. We saw those two in action last week, and it's at least we've got a few more drivers to pose a challenge to him this week as well. But the closest man that he needs to worry about is Christian Grzybowski, because at the moment, Marcel Miku is on 232 points in the championship, taking the lead of the championship so far, with 200 points for Christian Grzybowski. And then it's Anthony Perkin in P3 with 146, Weber Narashto with 130, and then Milos Mashko with 100. But I don't think we're seeing Mashko return at any point in the near future, so it's more likely going to be Vasilis Penetsis in P7 at the moment with 90 points, who is essentially then P5. That's essentially your top 5 for the remainder of the championship, and that is excluding the Tradition Sim Sport guys, Sebastian Schoenfeld, who absolutely dominated Watkins Glen for round 3, that double header, earning him 100 points from 2 race wins. Absolutely incredible performance from him and the whole squad there. This reminds me, actually, I need to thank AC Friends once again for allowing us to use their TCR mod, because we've been running this for, again, 5 weeks now. Oh, little moment for Marcel Miku on screen.
I mean, a big one, in my opinion. He just skidded the entire track through.
Oh dear. You can see him there on the side as TCR Sklias comes past. He's currently on a best first sector. But yeah, as I was saying, Tradition Sim Sports was linked to AC Friends. So yeah, just once again, huge shout out to those guys. This mod is, well, these mods are absolutely incredible. We love it. And I do quite like TCR Sklios in that white Megane. I'm not sure whether it's meant to look like that. If it is though, I'm all for it. It looks amazing.
I mean, it kind of looks like the livery's not on there yet, but if this is the livery, I must say it's very special, especially with the golden rims.
Yeah, I wasn't given any livery files this week, but then again, bear in mind I only got the thumbnail about 2 minutes before the race started. Well, qualifying, I should say. And we're already 5-6 minutes on. We're already halfway through qualifying. TCR Sklios currently on pole, the 130.3. Christian Grzybowski, a 131.1. Jack Smith, a 131.6. Weber Narashto, 132.4. And Sebastian Schoenfeld back. Oh, here we go. That top 6 contender in P5, a 133.8, back in again to show us how it's done tonight with the Tradition Sim Sports team.
Well, yeah, I mean, one thing I must say is last week in round Imola, TCR Sklias, a P1 in race 1, a P2 in race 2. Again, right now on provisional pole, I think we're going to see another masterclass from him, if I'm being honest.
Oh, yeah. Just the way that they raced, at Watkins Glen with his whole squad, yeah, it was just something else. And apparently they hadn't had much practice either. It was, seat of the pants kind of thing. Oh, have you guys got time to race in some TCR cars tonight? Yeah, sure. I got nothing else on for the Friday evening. And yeah, they proceeded to hop on for about 2 hours beforehand, got some practice in. The Audi was only... They only chose the Audi because they'd driven it before. That's the only reason they chose it. No other kind of factors. We had a long discussion about it afterwards, which you can all find on our Twitch channel, and go look back fondly at a half-an-hour discussion about TCR car setup between myself and the Tradition Sim Sport guys. It was probably one of the longest discussions we've had, though. Sebastian Schoenfeld improving up to a 131.4, as well as Christian Grzebowski closing on Tassos Sklias, 0.6 of a second separating P1 and P2 at the moment.
I mean, a very rare Marcel Miku up in P9 as of now, since he hasn't really set the fastest lap yet. Or a valid one at that.
142.3, that's 3 seconds off the pace for sure. Yeah, it's not looking good. He is out on circuit. He's now making his way... I just need to orientate my track circuit real quickly. He's now coming through Sheens and then Sterling's. That'll be turn 8. That final little straight before you get to the final corner. And some other cars also making their way around. Some other notable names is Weber Narashto, who we were talking about earlier. Also up there in the standings, P4 at the moment, 130 points. Saverio Piazza was a highlight of last week's race over at Imola. He was one of the drivers posing a very vehement challenge to Weber Narashto, who's currently in P6. Absolutely amazing battle all race long. And the other drivers, Alexis Melgar, not set a lap yet. Sarah Klein, also similar. Vasilis Penetsis, another familiar name, currently P7, also not having set a lap yet. The three final cars all still stuck inside the pit lane.
I mean, talking about setting a fastest lap, or a valid lap at that, Marcel Miku finally got one in, and it's a 30.9 as he sets the fastest Sector 1 as of now at 27.7. So he's really trying to challenge for that pole here.
Oh, the margin between himself and Christian Grzebowski is only 300ths. It's actually less than 300ths. It's 2700ths, if that's a legit way to say it. Marcel Miku, he set the fastest Sector 2. Tassos Sklias has set the fastest Sector 1. It's got to be an interesting few laps here. We've got potentially 1 or 2 more to go. Tassos Sklias, fastest Sector 1. Marcel Miku, he's on a good Sector 1 improvement and the fastest Sector 2. It's going to be who can get the fastest Sector 3 time.
It's really all getting down to this right now. I mean, Marcel Miku will still be able to do 1 more lap after this, if he has the fuel for it. As he crosses the finish line, nearly there. It's about a 10th difference as he's still P2 as we're looking at Sklias right now, rounding up the final corner right there. Onto the main straight, a good bend. A bit of the elevation change, which totals to around 30 meters here. As he improves by 200ths of a second. Wow.
It's the small margins. It's the small margins. That's where it all lies.
I'm always happy even if I improve by 3,000ths of a second, so...
Sebastian Schoenfeld unable to improve though, 131.4 for him still. He's stuck down in P4. Christian Grzebowski, his best lap was 130.5, also improving, but Tassos Sklias has set the best first sector. Marcel Miku is quite a bit further up. He's also set a very good Sector 1. That was, of course, just before Tassos set his first sector time. It's this battle for the pole is going to be interesting. We've got Tassos still in Sector 1, just about to cross the line for Sector 2. It's an improvement for him there. Marcel Miku pretty much on the money with his current best lap time, about to make his way around the Clark curve, turn 9, for the final time this qualifying session. He's had the best Sector 1 time, but he dives into the pits, and I think he's given up. So he accepts P2 as his current position, and that is if Christian Grzebowski can't improve, or any of the other drivers behind him. Tassos Sklias still fighting to improve on his major pole lap time.
1 purple sector, 1 green one. Will be a second purple sector for this lap. Oof. No, a yellow one, he loses out. That's very unfortunate. Grzebowski pulls over, Jack Smith right now, coming across the line. Slight improvement for him, no position however, so that's very unfortunate. Only 500ths of a second behind Sebastian Schoenfeld, so that's something. Piazza P7, Ledabu, I think a new driver here. He's driving in the Cupra, if my eyes do not deceive me. Right now, going into one of the more fast corners, downhill into the gravel even. As qualifying's over now. What a starting grid.
Whew. So, let's have a look. I just need to grab a photo of this, otherwise I forget what the qualifying order is. Because honestly, things go downhill very, very quickly if you don't document this kind of stuff. But yes, so on pole position, we've got TCR Sklios in the Renault Megane, as I've been corrected this evening. We made that mistake last week, and we will not make it again. It's not a Renault Clio, it's a Renault Megane. Marcel Miku, the current championship protagonist, on the front row of the grid alongside in P2. Sebastian Schoenfeld and Christian Grzebowski sharing the second row of the grid. Christian being P3, Sebastian P4, Jack Smith P5, Weber Narashto in P6, Saverio Piazza following alongside as well, alongside his previous rival from Imola, Daniel Bermudez in P8, Ledabu P9, Alexis Melgar in the Civic is your top 10, and then we've got Sarah Klein and Vasilis Penettis, the last three unable to set a lap time. So, what do we think Marcel Miku can do into turn one?
Well, I mean, he'll start around the outside, which is always risky at Paddock Bend here at Brands Hatch. I think if he can edge out Tesos Clears in turn one, he'll definitely be able to defend for quite a while and maybe get the win. I'm not sure yet because Clears always has some incredible pace. I'm saying always, it's his second round, but Narashto in the chat, I am 2 seconds off pace, worse than in Imola. You did deliver some great racing there though, so I believe in you that you can deliver it yet again.
Words of encouragement for everyone on the grid. So Marcel Miku starting on the outside, Tassos Sklios in the Megane on the front left. Then got Christian Grzebowski just behind in the Cupra. Sebastian Schoenfeld in P4 just behind as well. What a top 5. Jack Smith a little further behind in P5. A top 5 is looking very competitive down towards turn 1. This is going to be a very interesting start to the race. 2 sprints get going. It is go time and 12 cars go roaring down towards turn 1. And Marcel Miku has had a brilliant start there as always. Tassos Sklios has to pick up the pieces. Christian Grzebowski defending from a rampaging Jack Smith. Actually, Jack Smith's fallen behind. That is actually Saverio Piazza with a magnificent start. Christian Grzebowski now defending from Piazza, and Sebastian Schoenfeld has also had to concede 2 positions to those 2 Civics. Here comes Piazza up the inside of the Cupra, and that has put him off line. We've got Sebastian Schoenfeld applying some copious pressure to the rear end of the second Civic as they make their way through Surtees now and up the hill for the first time. We've got another Audi behind joining him as well. Weber Narashto on the end of this 5-car train. Jack Smith under pressure and applying some pressure to Saverio Piazza. It's going to be side by side for Hawthorne Bend. Turn 5 is going to be interesting. In the meantime, Sebastian Schoenfeld is just waiting for an opportunity. Round the outside goes Smith, and Piazza has dropped down slightly. This presents an opportunity for the Audi. Wide goes Saverio Piazza, and he does collect Weber Narashto as well. The 2 championship rivals unfortunately collide down by Westfield Bend. Into Dingle Dell they go. That has not gone well for the 2 of them. In the meantime, Tassos Sklios still chases Marcel Miku for that race lead.
I mean, Narashto there was just a passenger, but Schoenfeld, what a move. Slithered his car in there perfectly, made the move stick, and yeah, the rest is history. He's now still in P5 as we're looking at Ledabu following Daniel Bermudez, slipstreaming down into Paddock Bend. Will he make a lunge down the inside? Yes, he will, but he's a bit too far ahead as Bermudez kind of closes him off. Both not really using all of the exit there, but will we see a move into Druids right now? Yes, we will, as Letabu down the inside, staying very close to the apex, just about edging Bermuda's out there as he retains the lead through turn 3.
Oh, and Marcel Miku is feeling the pressure from Tesos Sklios. He went wide there through the Graham Hill bend down at turn 3. That compromised his exit out of that corner and subsequently his entry into Surtees for turn 4. And now Tesos Sklios is now within half a second of that Civic ahead. But as we've seen before, once that Civic tastes some free air, he'll just send it unless there's some sort of mistake, and he has already made a mistake, as we were saying literally just a few seconds ago, down at Graham Hill Bend. Don't know where Hawthorne came from. That's Hawthorne Bend turn 5. That was a fast right-hander just as you make your way down the hill. Sebastian Schoenfeld in the meantime also applying pressure to Jack Smith for P4, but we keep our eyes glued to the screen here between the two championship protagonists. The Civic on the defensive through the final corner. Clark Curve not allowing the Magan any opportunity on the inside, and it's again a similar story for turn 1. Tesos Sklios filtered to the outside of this next corner. This is a very, very sketchy right-hander. There's a decompression that means you lose a lot of grip on the front, and the Civic is still in P1. Whew! It's gonna get spicy.
It will be indeed. I mean, as I called it at the start, Miku will have a great start, and if he edges it out, he's gonna have a great time defending, which he's having right now. Sklios kind of a bit too much on the grass there. Still not losing out too much as Grzyzbowski starting to join the battle as well. Only 8/10 behind Sklios right now, so I think we might be seeing a three-way battle here soon.
Oh, true. He's now within a second, 0.8 seconds off of Tesos. So once they get battling once again, that's going to get very tight for your top 3, for your podium finishing positions. Jack Smith is sideways, though. I'm assuming with some sort of collision with Sebastian Schoenfeld. They had a pass go on over at Druids earlier.
I saw them going side by side down the straight there, but yeah, I mean, must have been a bit of contact then, because that's an unusual place to be turned around at.
Yeah, I mean, they were fighting fairly hard. It must have been a terrible exit for Schoenfeld out of Surtees for that, because it is quite a nice corner, but if you get onto the curbs too much and you overrun it into the gravel, yeah, I can imagine your exit's going to be compromised majorly. In the meantime, something that isn't being compromised at the moment is Marcel Miku's lead, although it is under threat from Tesos Sklios heading into the right-hander hairpin of Druids as they make their way up Pilgrim's Rise and now down to Graham Hill Bend. Once again, this is the closest that Tesos Sklios has come by the time they get to turn 3, Graham Hill Bend. Christian Grzyzbowski also closing the distance, and you can see Marcel Miku once again wide out onto the grass, but he can't cover off that defensive line in time. Here comes the white Magan. He's warranted some racing space, but the Civic does manage to make a lovely double apex maneuver there and maintain his momentum, but it's going to be the run down to turn 5, which could make things very, very interesting. We could see some mind games from either Sklios or Grzyzbowski heading into that fast right-hander.
Yeah, Grzyzbowski just getting that much closer, but Marcel Miku really nearly lost that position, but I'm surprised he still had the grip to go around the outside there. But yeah, Brands Hatch, if you look at the track map, kind of looks like an easy track, but I can assure you, it is difficult. It's tight, it has weird compression zones, weird bumps, as we saw Marcel Miku there, who slowly lost a bit of grip and time there, as they're going side by side into the final corner onto the Brabham Straight. Marcel Miku still edging it out a little bit as Grzyzbowski goes side by side with them again of Tesos Sklios. Will we see a move into turn 1? Will we see a 3 wide into turn 1? I think that's a bit too far-fetched as Marcel Miku still retains the position. But Grzyzbowski just about loses it. Will he send it into Druids?
Oh, this is close, isn't it? Christian Grzyzbowski had an opportunity there, but the two cars ahead managed to maintain their momentum. Still all up in the air with 13 minutes to go. We do, of course, only have two 20-minute sprints for tonight. Well, I say only two 20-minute sprints. They seem like marathons sometimes, just with the amount of action that we've got packed into them. Christian Grzybowski wide on the exit, and he does make contact with a wall. There's that thing we were talking about earlier. If you go off at Tees and you hit the gravel trap, it's all over for your momentum down the Pilgrim's Drop. And you can see Sebastian Schoenfeld also lurking in the background, 1.3 seconds. He's managed to untangle himself from that midfield, Vasilis Panetis and Jack Smith, and now he's starting to close that gap to Christian Grzybowski. In the meantime, Tesos Sklios is working to try and close that gap to Marcel Mikiu once again.
I mean, what I'm noticing, I know at Surtees you have a certain bit of green runoff there where it's not like a lot of grip, but still a slight bit. I can see lots of cars going wide there onto the grass, and it's costing them time, and that's what I think is allowing Schoenfeld right now to just start to catch up and possibly give us a four-way battle for P1.
Another habit I'm picking up on is Marcel Mikiu going wide down through Graham Hill Bend. He just seems to clip the grass every single time. Tesos Sklios as well, but to a lesser degree, and generally just outside track limits, whereas Marcel Mikiu, he completely over track limits. We also saw Ladabu and Daniel Bermudez get close to each other as well, make almost a position swap for P9. But yeah, all eyes still glued to the screens for our top three. Sebastian Schoenfeld still unable to join the chat. He doesn't quite have the slipstream from the cars ahead yet, although of course he can bargain on some mistakes from Christian Grzybowski. Himself is now only half a second behind Tesos. Once they start battling again, that'll bring them all to within fighting distance, and Sebastian Schoenfeld into this battle for potentially a podium position.
Yes, exactly. As further down the grid, we have a little window for Ladabu right now, who's just about losing a bit of time, but not much. As at the front, it's really heating up for P2 right now. Tesos Sklios will have to defend heavily because Grzybowski is all over the back of him. Schoenfeld right now praying for a bit of contact to get a free position, but it hasn't happened yet, as it allows Marcel Mikiu really right now to start and stretch his legs, stretch his lead, and try to win this race with 10 minutes already being having passed, and he puts the fastest lap up right now at 30.7, so amazing racing from him from now, as of now.
Yeah, it's perfect for him. He's got two guys battling. If they get too caught up in that, he's got a third man joining that battle as well. In the meantime, he can just keep putting his consistent quick laps and keep going. He wasn't sounding too optimistic, though, when we were talking about Brands Hatch last week. He seems to be getting along just fine, but probably not as comfortable as he might have liked compared to his previous success and previous dominance. But then again, you know, this is racing. You want to have a good battle, and you want to see some great side-by-side action, and we've seen some brilliant side-by-side action for the first 10 minutes. The remaining 10 minutes will all be about catch-up and just maximising the pace out of your car as much as you can with what you've got and the tyre wear that you've got. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about tyre wear as much because it's only 20 minutes, but we're going to have to watch out for modes like that where you might be careening towards a wall or a gravel trap, and that could cost you seconds and loads of positions. We've seen what can happen when you clip a little wall or clip just a little bit of grass in previous races as well.
Yes, exactly, and I mean, then you must also realize that these cars are the least punishing of the AC cars Phoenix runs here, so it's mainly down to the suspension. But if we looked at the MX-5s earlier, quite a bit of chaos, quite a few spins, and I mean, Marcel Mikiu as well there, not having the greatest time. It was his worst MX-5 race of the season, so for him to be leading P1 right now, I think does make him happy, as Sklios is slightly catching up a bit, as Jack Smith right now at the back of Ladabu, trying to go for a move. As he's going around the outside, a bit of grass there from Ladabu. But Jack Smith nearly goes for the switchback. No, he goes for all the curb there into Druids around the outside. Will the Honda make it stick? No, not yet. A bit of contact with the Cupra there. heading into Graham Hill. Bend again behind, but I think he might go for the move into Surtees because he's carrying the overspeed right now. He has what it takes as he sends it down the inside. They're still side by side. The Cupra, more speed around the outside there, goes onto the grass as Jack Smith takes P8.
Lovely. We saw a brilliant start from Jack Smith. Well, sorry, Jack Smith was the one that fell behind. Sorry, it was Saverio Piazza who had the brilliant start in the Civic. And then Jack Smith's late race has been coming back. He's dropped a little further behind when he had that altercation with Sebastian Schoenfeld. In the meantime, we've got Tesos Sklias right up on the rear end of Marcel Miku once again for the race lead. 1.5 seconds is the gap to Christian Grzybowski behind. He's got a little bit of leeway. If he were to get this move done, get it done as quickly as you can so that you don't have to deal with that blue Cupra waiting behind. He's already made life somewhat more difficult and somewhat more complex than he might have liked before. Tesos Sklias looking towards the inside for the left-hander up the hill, up to Surtees, under braking. He's gone for a very, very deep line, and he's just about made that stick alongside with the Civic. A little touch on the gravel for the blue Civic. Marcel Miku, his momentum not quite completely broken. He's still holding on side by side. They head down Pilgrim's Drop into Hawthorne Bend. This is a very, very fast right-hander, and they still somehow manage to not make any contact. This is brilliant racing. The Civic on the defensive line once again for turn 6. Derek Minter straight heading into Westfield Bend. Through the right-hander they go. In the meantime, Christian Grzybowski has closed that gap from 1.5 seconds down to half a second now. Through the right-hander again they go. There's a Civic going off in the background. Now in the foreground, that's going to bunch these three up and allow even more overtaking opportunities. The Civic has gone clean off so that he can allow these guys some more racing opportunity. Tesos Sklias once again around the outside for the final corner. Christian Grzybowski waiting for an opportunity. This is where he made a move last time, or attempted to at least, with a little bit of extra speed out of that final corner. Tesos Sklias has got the inside line for this next corner now. Turn 1, there's contact. The Civic pushed to the outside. Tesos Sklias essentially forcing his way up the inside there. Just enough room to exist on this planet and just exist on the circuit. And they have somehow managed to make it their way through turn 1 unscathed.
I must say, the moments they go side by side, they leave each other just the right amount of space. It's not too much, not too less, as Jack Smith is getting close to Saverio Piazza, but I must quote Journey from Don't Stop Believing. The movie never ends. The movie never ends. It goes on and on and on. That's what this battle is producing with us. The gap gets bigger and then they're bunched up again, fighting side by side constantly. It just never stops, and it's amazing to see.
Oh, a little look from the McGann through turn 5 again. Top 3, if they start fighting, then Sebastian Schoenfeld can close that gap up the inside here. Unexpected position through the right-hander of Sheens and now into Sterling's. He's got that move done, and the Civic is now on the defensive from the Cupra behind. Christian Grzybowski not able to capitalize on the mistake from Marcel Miku early, and Tesos Sklias takes the race lead. Brilliant move, and I think that was quite an unexpected move, to be honest. He was just suddenly alongside through Dingledale. I did not expect that.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, they have been battling for 75% of the race, though, so I think, ooh, what a drift from Marcel Miku there. Nice power slide. I think Sklias, he's going to try and run away with it right now. That's all he has to do. I mean, Marcel Miku, we know he has a pace. We know he can challenge for wins, but Sklias, who started last week around Imola, again, just putting the pedal to the metal and you know, producing some great racing and some great pace.
This is just incredible, isn't it? I mean, Marcel Miku has had the lead for 15 minutes. It swapped with 5 minutes remaining. And now Tesos Sklias has the opportunity to grab some fresh, clean air. It's Marcel Miku's turn to ingest some of the exhaust fumes from that Renault Megane ahead. Christian Grzebowski has been consuming the mixed fumes of a Civic and a Megane for the past 18 minutes, and Sebastian Schoenfeld hasn't gotten close enough to the Cupra to even know what the exhaust fumes smell like. In the meantime, Saverio Piazza was getting fairly close to the rear end of Jack Smith for P7. Smith seems to be doing quite well tonight, closing that gap to his previous starting position, doing well to recover from a dropped position. But Marcel Miku seems to be slowing somewhat. He's a second off of Tesos Klios. I suspect his tyres may have taken a beating, and now he's starting to pay the price for it. Christian Grzebowski, 0.3 seconds off of the championship leader, still 1.3 seconds to Sebastian Schoenfeld behind.
And yet again, they're a bit shaky on the exit. Marcel Miku still retains position. I think he will finish P2, but yeah, Sklius. We are lucky he didn't start from race 1 and was here for every round, because otherwise we would have seen some massive domination, I think. Marcel Miku also very fast, but it seems like that Megane squeezes out a bit more performance. And I mean, the performance, it's working.
Well, I don't know. I don't think Tesos has been too dominant. I mean, if we look at just last week's results, it was P1 in the first race for the Megane, P3 for Marcel Miku, and then the next race they swapped positions. So then it was Marcel Miku P1 and Sklios P2. I don't think it would have been dominance for Sklios. I think it would just have been a good challenge for the championship lead, and I think he's starting to do that now. He's starting to close that gap down on Marcel Miku in the championship standings. He's currently P8 behind Vasilis Panetta, Sebastian Schoenfeld, Wieben Arasho, Anthony Perkin, and Christian Grzebowski, and he is ousting them all pretty much. But I think it's just he does know where to oust them all. He knows where to hit them hard. Christian Grzebowski not quite sure whether he can hit Marcel Miku hard through turn 1. Hopefully not make any physical contact, but I mean as in make a hit on his current race standings. Marcel Miku going for an early apex there compared to the usual lines. Christian Grzebowski just maintaining his usual racing line and trying to put Marcel Miku off maybe. I don't know. He's just waiting for his opportunity.
Well, yeah, I mean, patience is a virtue, and I think we're on the penultimate lap right now. I think we'll have time for one more lap after this. That will be make or break for Christian Grzebowski. As Sklius, 1.2 seconds right now. Schoenfeld trailing a bit behind, but still a very good race from him this far. I mean, he unfortunately couldn't catch on earlier because of the constant slipstreaming at the front, but he's still displaying some great pace near the end here.
He's done well to respond to the challenge of two Civics flying by him at turn 1. We heard about the challenging race starts at Watkins Glen. The Audi seemed to struggle getting off the line there. Apparently the clutch bite point is really aggressive, so it's a bit tricky for them to get off the line well. And I suspect that's what's happened to Sebastian this race again. And now, of course, Christian Grzebowski. Oh, it's actually a slow Marcel Miku. Here comes Grzebowski around the outside of Marcel Miku, who's just lost another position. His championship hopes going down the drain. Tesos Klios taking P1. Christian Grzebowski taking P2. His nearest championship rival at the moment taking a better podium position. And here comes Sebastian Schoenfeld, half a second off of Marcel Miku. But of course, that gap between Miku and Grzebowski is not completely insane yet. It's still within a second, but the gap between Sklios and Grzebowski has grown to more than 2 seconds.
Well, I mean, we discussed this last round at Imola, I think. Marcel Miku, once he's been pressured a bit too much, some mistakes start to flow in, and he's usually close to other cars, so it costs him quite a bit. I mean, Schoenfeld will try and capitalize off it right now on the final lap, as he's really getting close to that Civic right there.
Oh,
Get
yeah,
a slide
right
there for Marcel Miku.
Yeah, it's close. I mean, he doesn't have many opportunities to make this pass. If he's going to make a pass, it's going to be into the final corner. TCR Sklios will round that final corner first, though, and then Christian Grzybowski, then Marcel Miku, and then Sebastian Schoenfeld from half a second back. I don't think he's going to do it. I think this is going to be your top 4 for the first sprint race of this evening. Starting off strong, TCR Sklios takes the first race win of tonight. Christian Grzybowski, P2. Marcel Miku has to settle for P3. And Sebastian Schoenfeld in P4. Vasilis Penetsis has just crossed the line for P5. Weber Narashto still quite a ways back. 32 seconds, goodness. Jack Smith just a little further behind Saverio Piazza. Then Daniel Bermudez. Ladabu also still making his way around the circuit. Sarah Klein and Alexis Melgar also still making their way round the circuit. I can't speak tonight.
Right now across the finish line for P6. Jack Smith behind him, P7. Then follows Saverio Piazza in a few seconds as we see some playful contact there between the Civic and the Audi. Piazza P8. Decent performance from him. As next up will be Daniel Bermudez and then Ladabu. We'll take race 2 pole, if I'm correct, with the reverse grid rule for race 2 here.
Reverse grid is just the opposite of the qualifying standings, isn't it? Or is it the opposite of the race standings?
I think it's of the race standings. If I'm correct, I mean, we'll definitely see.
We'll definitely get Maverick. We'll definitely get Maverick sending us a DM in capital letters, shouting at us again. What do you mean race standings? But yeah, I mean, if it's based on race standings, then it would be Alexis Melgar who actually starts us off on pole. And then we've got Sarah Klein on the front row, Ladabu, then P3, Daniel Bermudez P4. But if it's on qualifying standings, then it will actually be Vasilis Penetsis starting off on pole position, Sarah Klein alongside on the front row for P2. And then the rest of the grid follows with Alexis Melgar and Dabu on the second row, Daniel Bermudez and then Saverio Piazza in P5 and P6, Weber Narashto, then Jack Smith, Sebastian Schoenfeld, then Christian Grzybowski, and the final row will be Marcel Miku and TCR Sklios. They will have some fun trying to get through this grid. Do you think they can manage to get up to the race win and podium finishing positions?
I think so. It's Brands Hatch turn 1 reverse grid. I think we'll definitely see some funny things happen there, so to say.
Yeah.
Anything can happen there, especially on the exit. It's not even gravel, it's sand. It slows you down more than a brick wall, some might say, but we'll see if anybody even drives over it, you know. Anything can happen. I also saw in the Twitch chat there was a vote for who will win the race. Everybody or just one person voted for Marcel Miku, and yeah, that didn't work out.
No, I try not to be too favoritist by voting. I tend, as a commentator, I'm not allowed to. I have to stay impartial, I guess. Otherwise, I start trying to commentate to curse their rivals. But as we all know, it has to happen organically. It can't happen on purpose.
As Piazza apologizes to Narashto for the incident they had at lap 1, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
So some good sportsmanship we see there.
Oh, Jack Smith has had some words, though.
Was spinning on my own, not enough. Kick me in the nuts and hit me in the gravel, too.
Yeah, I didn't think we had to include the last bit. But we've had some fun stuff.
Conversations there.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, it could have been a lot worse. It could be, we could have had a lot worse in the chats. But it seems to be fairly calm between the drivers, though. TCR Sklios and Marcel Miku, though, their rivalry will have to be settled once more on the track as they are alongside each other for the race start once more. So it is going to be, we've been rushed to up there. It is going to be Ladabu starting on pole position. Daniel Bermudez alongside for P2. And then Saverio Piazza P3. So the guys that haven't set a lap time, they all start at the back of the grid anyways. So it will then be Ladabu on pole position, Daniel Bermudez P2. Close. Alongside on the second row, Saverio Piazza P3, Jack Smith P4, Vasilis Panettis a bit further back, Sebastian Schoenfeld there as well, Weber Narashto also there, for some reason listed as P1. Don't trust the leaderboard on the left-hand side of the screen for now. You can trust it later, but not right now. Ladabu starting on pole position. The lights come on once more. 6 red lights illuminating for the second time at Brands Hatch this evening. And it is go time, and 12 cars go roaring down towards turn 1, except for Ladabu. He's had a terrible start. Daniel Bermudez assumes the race lead. Jack Smith and Saverio Piazza side by side for turn 1. Piazza once again, magnificent starts, and he takes that position. Marcel Miku already up to P3 now, alongside that Civic and pass. Sebastian Schoenfeld trying to follow him through and maintain that momentum. Weber Narashto also making some moves on the inside of Vasilis Panettis. The two Audis going head to head. In the meantime, Tassos Klios is struggling to make ground there. He's caught up in that battle between the Audis. He's got Christian Grzybowski right up behind him as well. Sebastian Schoenfeld now up the inside of Marcel Miku for P3. There's Saverio Piazza also alongside for P1. Daniel Bermudez on the gravel, and he's lost some momentum. Here comes Marcel Miku. Here comes Sebastian Schoenfeld. Here comes Jack Smith. Almost 3 abreast heading into turn 5. Sebastian Schoenfeld round the outside of Marcel Miku. That's a gutsy move round the outside of Daniel Bermudez as well. And he's made that stick. A double overtake for the man in the green Audi. Brilliant stuff. Marcel Miku also makes his way around the Cupra.
Very early to call, but that is overtake of the season. I mean, wow. That's all like, wow. Just perfectly put his car there. And he made it stick. Whoa! He's P1 right now. That might be looked at by the stewards, but Schoenfeld, what a lap 1 he has had already. Marcel Miku right now behind him. He's going to try and make a move stick into Paddock Hill Bend as he's being squeezed towards the inside, but then again, P4 right now, not far behind. Marcel Miku down the inside.
Oh! They're both into the gravel.
They're all spinning. or is that? I mean, I wanted to say that's our top 4 from last race, but not exactly, since Grzybowski really gained massively from that move. Everybody's going off all of a sudden. We've entered rallycross territory, if I'm correct.
Utter carnage. Daniel Bermudez promoted back up to P2. Jack Smith takes the race lead. Marcel Miku trying to make a move for P2 up into P3. Christian Grzybowski manages to gain the most out of that up to P4. Weber Narashto also won to gain there. Ladabu just about holding on to a top 5 finish. Hope Sebastian Schoenfeld already alongside, and Marcel Miku has made that position stick. Christian Grzybowski, the next one to make his way around a fellow Cupra. He's in the blue Cupra. Bermudez is in the yellow Cupra. Weber Narashto also waiting behind, looking for an opportunity on the inside of that Cupra, and there's contact between the two Cupras, contact between the Audi as well. 3 side by side through Dingledale into Sheens, and there is utter carnage once more. It's a big one. Oh, that's a fast corner as well. Ladabu also in there. I mean, my days.
That's just unfortunate. I must say, good reflex from Bermudez to just hold the brakes there, but yeah, sometimes it's an incident is unavoidable, and that was one of such cases.
I mean, if drivers hold their brakes, then it's a whole lot less likely to go wrong. But yeah, I mean, there was nothing that Ladabu could do either to prevent that accident from happening because he was in the middle of the circuit. And it's just such a fast blind right-hander. You can't see anything from the for the corner ahead. Tassos Klios didn't see that Civic just suddenly going off ahead of him. Saverio Piazza losing ground and losing positions. Christian Grzybowski unable to make his way past. Weber Narashto very lucky to get past as well and maintain his momentum.
It just keeps going. What a race, man. Like, the reverse grid, I find it always so exciting because we know minimum first 5 minutes we're gonna see some great racing, and great racing we're getting as Krispowski moves up a position from Severio Piazza, and then Permetz is P6 right now behind Sklias, who is going to try his best to run away with his P5 and then close the gap to Schoenfeld up ahead.
Whew! Utter carnage. And we've only had 5 minutes elapsed with 25% through the race so far. At the moment, Jack Smith holds on to the lead, 2.5 seconds ahead of Marcel Miku, who's in P2. Magnificent start, got caught up in a massive incident down at turn 1. Cars all over the place on the on Paddock Hill Bend. And then Wieben Rashtu finds himself in P3. Sebastian Schoenfeld P4, and Tesos Sklios rounds out your top 5 with Vasilis Penetsis closing ground as well. 0.8 seconds. Could we see this Audi potentially make his way into the top 5?
I won't be so sure yet. We have some decent gaps right now, and I'm personally getting some flashbacks towards race 2 of the MX-5s earlier, where Jack Smith also led the race, and where Marcel Miku started to pressure him near the end. So I think Jack Smith will have some flashbacks from that as well.
He's got a 1.8 second lead at the moment, so if he just maintains that gap and he just maintains his pace, keeps it cool and calm, he might stand a chance. But at the same time, we know how quick Marcel Miku is. Marcel Miku is an absolute rocket. And Wieben Rashtu, he's not necessarily the fastest car on the grid as well. 4 seconds. It'll be a heck of a battle. It'll be a massive battle between these two if Wieben Rashtu can close that gap from 4.3 seconds down to 0.
Exactly. I mean, gaps are all around 1 second right now, so we're not seeing a lot except for Alexis Melgar behind Ladabu, the Civic versus the Cupra. We're not seeing big battles right now as Marcel Miku sets the fastest lap of the race as he's closing in on Jack Smith ever so slightly. Jack Smith's gonna try his best to hold on to that P1, but I mean, there's an immovable, no, not an immovable object, there's an unstoppable force behind him. Marcel Miku, nothing stops the man. If he sets his sights on something, he will go for it. And that's what we're gonna see right now.
Intense, and it's only gonna get more tense for Jack Smith in the Civic. The battle of the Civics about to kick off. Red versus blue. Marcel Miku is within a second now and closing, and he's in his confident section of the circuit, I should say. Well, from what we've noticed, it seems to be sector 1 that he struggles with, especially turn 3. But he seems to have kept that. Fairly consistent now. He's managed to maintain a line that doesn't cause him to lose traction heading up the hill, or lose too much traction at least. And he's doing well to keep his gap ahead of Wieben Rashtu as well. 5.4 seconds that is now. Sebastian Schoenfeld almost within a second there as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, pressure is going to keep on building for Jack Smith as we're heading yet again to Paddock Hill Bend. Quite a steep drop down here as both of the cars make it through safely. No power slides, and Marcel Miku, what an exit there, as he's putting the pressure right now through Drugas. He has to go very wide there, nearly off of the track. Very late move, but a shot not taken is always a shot missed, and he just took the shot. Unfortunately it missed, but man did he get close there.
0.3 seconds by the time he got to Druids. It was a massive line through there, and probably the reason he oversped into that corner as well. We've got Sebastian Schoenfeld getting close to the rear end of Wieben Rashtu now. 0.4 seconds between them, the closest gap on the circuit. Marcel Miku being the next smallest gap, I should say, 0.6 seconds. This gap, though, is only 0.2 seconds heading through turn 5 now. A little further behind. It's a tough corner for Wieben Rashtu that allows Schoenfeld to look at the inside, but he doesn't take it. That allows Tesos Sklios to come within a second now. We've got two very, very quick drivers now converging on the Audi ahead, and they've lost time as well. 7.5 seconds Now separating that red Audi. Oh, and he's gone round. He's in the middle of the racetrack. I'm not sure. Yes, he is still safe. And he does manage to get out of the way in a timely fashion. That has gone about as well as it could, considering the amount of pressure he was under. Unfortunately, we've been Rashto drops down to P8 now. Yeah, really unfortunate. Not the way it should have gone for him. But Sebastian Schoenfeld got through there with minimum issue, and that's Vasilis Benetsis going wide on the final corner as well. That's completely broken his momentum onto the main straight.
Yeah. Schoenfeld went a bit wide there as we see them again of Tesos, Klias send it down the inside here at Druids, but Schoenfeld determined to hang on there as they're heading into Graham Hill right now.
Oh, and we've also got Marcel Miku and Jack
down
Smith.
The inside goes Schoenfeld. They're side by side right now. Marcel Miku overtakes Jack Smith as well. Insert these where Schoenfeld takes P3 and holds on to it for now, but them again a switch back. They're again too wide as they're going down Pilgrim's drop into Hawthorne Hill right there. Schoenfeld, will he send it down the inside? He will.
Woo!
What a race. I think he has a favorite corner right there, because it's a second or third time he just decides to make it move there. As Jack Smith again in the lead, so Marcel Miku must have made a mistake.
Yeah, Marcel Miku did indeed make a mistake, and that allowed the red Civic to dive up the inside on one of the fast right-handers. I believe it was Sheen's. Again, that very odd place where the blue Civic is just super slow out of that right-hander, and heading into turn one, he's potentially got an opportunity. In the meantime, Tesos Sklios and Sebastian Schoenfeld are still at it down the main straight here as well, as you can see on the smallest screen. But I'm also trying to keep an eye on this other battle heading up to Druids. We can take a peek down here, and there's contact between the two!
Contact, they're both off. They're both off. Schoenfeld much harder than Sklios, who's able to hold on, as Krzyzbowski makes a pretty ballsy move there around the outside into Druids. He takes P3, but Sklios will still be right behind him, as the stewards will definitely take a look at that incident.
Oh, contact at turn one. A scary, scary corner to have any kind of contact. Absolutely flying off into the gravel. That was Sebastian Schoenfeld. Tesos Sklios gets off better between the two, and Christian Grzybowski just pounces on him. Tesos Sklios, though, not quite happy to allow the Cupra past. It's French versus Spanish heading into the right-hander of turn 5. He does hold back. It's not quite going to be his opportunity yet, but he's got plenty more through the following right-handers of Westfield Bend, then Dingledale, and then Sheens. In the meantime, Marcel Miku unable to take the race lead. Half a second behind Jack Smith. Smith doing very well to hold on to that position.
I mean, I really wonder what happened to Marcel Miku, because he did hold the lead for a short time, but yeah, then just lost it. And yeah, the incident between Schoenfeld and Sklies will definitely also have to be rewatched, because wow, I mean, both almost synchronized. Schoenfeld definitely had the worst of it.
Did he have contact with the outside wall? That's the only thing I'm worried about.
I mean, he really had a massive spin around the rear there, so I think the sand might have saved him. I mean, it really stops the car heavily here.
Because if he's hit that wall, he's potentially damaged his suspension, damaged his steering. I mean, the best way, I guess, is to take a look at his onboard and see what his steering wheel angle is like. This is not a good angle for Christian Grzybowski, though. 0.2 seconds is Sklios out onto the main straight down Pilgrim's drop. He's going to have an opportunity down into turn 1. Marcel Miku thought he had an opportunity on Jack Smith as well. Not quite, but this is closest between Sklios and Christian Grzybowski. Two battles going on simultaneously for the top step of the podium and the lowest step of the podium. 0.2 seconds still between the Megane and the Cupra. It's good pressure from Sklios. He knows how to apply some really, really good pressure.
Well, I mean, regarding the damage on Schoenfeld, damage is only set to 20% on the server, so luckily no suspension damage that can be had here. So yeah, I think right now it's just mainly not really being bothered anymore. You lost the battle, you're now in no man's land pretty much, having to drive. As Marcel Miku again putting the pressure at Paddock Hill Bend. Down the inside because Jack Smith takes the sand there. Marcel Miku right now leading the race with 5 minutes to go. As he's heading out of Druids right now towards Graham Hill. Does Jack Smith have what it takes to get close and stay with them or not? That's the real question we should be asking for the next 5.5 minutes.
I mean, I think the only reason that Jack Smith managed to retake that position is we see TCR Sklios actually off the gravel and round the outside of turn 3, heading up to turn 4. The Cupra on the defensive line here. That Magan will have a lovely run out of that corner. Apologies. We'll talk about Miku in just a second because he's had a brilliant run out of there. Maximised his exit very well. 0.3 seconds though. He seems as though he's lost that momentum heading up the hill. Never mind. But yeah, I think the only reason Jack Smith managed to retake the lead was because the gap between himself and Marcel Miku was still close enough for him to make a move, and it was then just a small, tiny little line error, just enough to cost Miku 0.2. And Jack Smith happened to be within 0.2 of a second. I think that's how it happened. I think now that Miku's got some clear air and he's managed to build up a small gap, even just second, I think it's over.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we'll probably just power through right now towards the finish line as we're looking at Severio Piazza and Narashto. A battle we saw last time around as well. They're going at it yet again.
We saw some great racing from these two at Imola last week. 2 20-minute sprints. Somehow they managed to find each other on both occasions. And who was that just going off? Was that one of the drivers further down the grid? I think it is. That was probably Alexis Melgar off in the gravel trap at turn 1. He did start coming back onto the racing line. It was a small kind of, I wouldn't say it was a heart attack moment, but kind of heart palpitations maybe. Just low key, you know, maybe a minor. Is there a thing such as a minor heart attack, where like you just see something starting to potentially develop? You like, you just start getting stressed. I was.
Oh yeah, I mean, Sklios right now. So he's gonna make no. If I were Chris Bowski right now, I would be very, very scared, and I would be stressing. It's such a fast corner, and if you see somebody even attempt to move there, you're scared. I've driven this track quite a lot in the GT3s around ACC, and around there I'm always very, very scared.
Yeah, it's a very fast track for such a small, narrow circuit, isn't it? It's really, really fast right-handers for a circuit that's barely big enough to host 2 cars alongside, let alone maybe 3. I mean, maybe this is the section of the track where you can put 3 cars side by side, but even then, there's not going to be a lot of room for banter, and considering the GT3s are probably still quite a bit wider than these cars, yeah, I can imagine it gets quite tight. Even these guys do seem slightly big for this circuit.
Yeah. I mean, I've driven the Indy layout with some teammates in the Cupra touring cars, and we did go 3 abreast a few times, but I can tell you, once the corner came, we're all in the grass, in the barrier, in the pits repairing damage. It's mental. But also a very short but very fun layout around this track, I must say.
That final corner on Indy, though, sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Like it sucks to try to work that out. But once you do get it,
it's very strange and very difficult. Yeah. Once you get, I mean, the entry into there, it's very fun. But once you near the exit, then it's very difficult indeed.
Yeah, because you're having to watch out for the decompression as well through that final corner. Because it's you don't really think about it too often when you're watching it. But for drives, they need to take all these elevation changes into account. For example, through this corner, massive decompression there, and you're having to take some massive curb through there. As touring cars, though, you know, curbs aren't too much of a challenge, but for some other cars, that poses a significant challenge. TCR Sklios about to pose his own significant challenge to Christian Grzybowski into the final corner. Not significant enough to pose alongside, though. That might be the turn 1 position. We'll see how this goes. 0.2 seconds, 0.1 seconds. Here we go under braking. Darts back to the outside. maybe making the Cupra nervous. He's made him nervous enough to slide through turn 1. Turn 2 will be compromised. The Cupra on the defensive. The Megane looks to the outside. Tesos Sklios trying to hang on to that position and trying to hang on to racing room on the inside for Paddock, and he's managed to do that very well. Graham Hill Benders, here's turn 3, and that is going to be P3 at turn 3, but his exit has been terrible. He does cover off the inside very, very briefly. Christian Krzybowski unable to capitalise on his mistake.
I mean, I think this is what Tesos Sklios has been planning on the entire race as of now. Just put the pressure each lap, each corner on Krzybowski, and then just decide, alright, now is the time to make or break with a little bit of time left. I don't know if we'll see another lap. Marcel Miku might slow down a bit before the finish line just to make sure we don't have another lap and he doesn't have to race one more, but it'll be very, very close.
Oh, 10 seconds, I'm not sure. It's going to be close. It's going to be very close.
Yeah, no, this is the final lap. As Marcel Miku right now throttles down the main straight for P1. Jack Smith will finish P2 as Krzybowski took P3 somehow. Something must have happened to Sklios in his Megane, who will not take the position anymore. They cross the finish line, laps over.
No way.
Race is done.
We didn't see that. Christian Krzybowski somehow got back ahead.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Schoenfeld, P6, Bernatsis, P5, Tesos, P4. Naresto right now still in a battle with Severio Piazza into the final corner. Naresto slides a bit there.
No!
Oh no!
No!
Severio Piazza will finish this race in P6 apparently, but no, it will be P7 because Jack Smith already disconnected Naresto. P8, Sarah Klein will probably finish this race in I lost count, but yeah, we'll finish this race. That's a statement I can make.
In the meantime, Daniel Bermudez and Ledabu.
And Ledabu, yes. That's a beautiful, nice last move we saw there. Maybe we'll see a bit of gravel and the final lap overtake, but no. They make it through.
Wow.
A bit of contact this race, but wow. I must say Schoenfeld's overtake around lap 1, I think it was, still amazes me.
And Marcel Miku does like to do his full circuit victory lap, doesn't he? Tesos Sklios, well, him and Panetsis have managed to meet up on track. Schoenfeld had an amazing race. He had an amazing race too, but then got scuppered in all the carnage. Otherwise, but yeah, I think he had the best start other than Marcel Miku. Marcel Miku was up into P3 very, very quickly, but it was Schoenfeld who managed to make the move up into the race lead to start with.
Yeah,
or at least, was it P2? No, it was actually P2, wasn't it? Jack Smith had the race lead.
Yeah, Jack Smith had the race lead for a long, long while. I think what's unfortunate for Schoenfeld is that incident with Tesos Sklios there in turn 1. I really wonder what happened there because he had such a great race, he had such nice moves, and next thing we see is him losing the rear and spinning out. I mean, no reports, of course, as of yet, but I think we might maybe see one later. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think the stewards are going to be busy tonight. They're going to be busy. Yeah. Schoenfeld and Sklios is the one incident that comes to mind. Bermudez and Krzybowski, that was the other incident. That's what kickstarted the absolute carnage down at Westfield Bend. That fast right-hander. And then, of course, turn 1 carnage, which involved Marcel Miku and some other drivers as well into turn 1. That was utter carnage as well. And I mean, we've got the two of those drivers who were involved in the lap 1 carnage and the turn 1 carnage the following lap. Marcel Miku and Wiebe Narasto joining us once again up in the commentary box. How are you two doing this evening?
Honestly, I'm just glad the pain's over with this track.
Not a great track for you, is it?
No, honestly, probably one of my worst.
Well, I mean, that's a question I wanted to ask since the MX5 race. If you had to choose Forever Drive, Watkins Glen, or Brands Hatch, which one would you take? Because you've shown your love so much for both of them.
To be honest, I'd go Watkins all day, to be honest.
Alright,
With
that's a
Brantage, I
fair
just have a
move.
reputation for just not being one of mine, to be honest.
Alright. Well, yeah, I mean, a great result, I must say, from you there in race 2. Talk us through your battles in race 1 and race 2.
I mean, for that first race, I was just trying to defend like a damn lion. Although I was also more focused on actually just getting through without, actually getting killed or trying to kill anybody. Since these cars, I was just fishtailing all over the place at times. In the end, couldn't quite hold it. And then the second run, I mean, that one was a bit of a mess. So I would like to talk about the one between myself and Schofield going into T1. I ended up getting pinched so narrow and I completely missed my brake, and then the suspension just gave up on me. Like, for some reason, the car just jumped, I couldn't stop the car, and unfortunately, we both went into the gravel.
Alright, and then Naresto, I must say, you told us in the chat that you were expecting to be in no man's land, but race 2, you still had a revitalized Severio and you lost it in the final corner. Talk us through your races.
Well, race 1 was boring. So I had a normal start. I think Piazza had a great start. Then he had a moment in turn 6, so the first of the 3 triple right. So he was basically spinning across the track. So I couldn't avoid him, unfortunately, because I was already on the inside. But that was okay. And then next lap, I overtook a couple of slower cars. And then, Jack Smith, I think either he made a mistake or something. He dropped back. And then he had a he had a spin in turn 1. Basically, he was just almost deja vu of lap 1, because both Jack Smith and Piazza were driving, I believe, Civics. So so both times I was on the right, and a Civic is spinning from the left across the track. So I tried to brake, because every time through turn 1 I'm also sliding myself. So if I try to brake and turn and avoid, I might spin myself. So in the end, I think I caught his right front corner. So I spun him back across into the gravel. That's how he lost like 15 seconds. He would have probably lost like 8 seconds, but there was nothing I can do there. But yeah, Jack Smith already said in the chat he's messing with me because with the spin. But race 2 was way more chaotic. So at the start, I know all the guys behind me are like 1.5 seconds faster than me on like pure pace. So I wasn't really even trying to fight for position. So I think I dropped down to third to last. I think I let Marcel got a great start, so he already passed me into turn 1. And then Jabowski, I think, passed me, but we had a bit of contact into turn 4. He was trying to get the cutback of the car in front, but I was still kind of having a nose on his inside. So it's like a Piastri Hulkenberg incident of the Dakota Spring turn 1. But we both survived. But then I don't know what happened in front. I remember you saying, I think Bermudas went on the grass or something, and bunched up the whole field.
Yeah, we had a car going off, yeah.
Yeah, so there was a huge check up in turn 5. So we were going through that corner basically almost 70% rev in 4th gear, but we had to basically slam on the brakes to go down to third to like avoid all the carnage in front. So then that means I think I dropped basically to the last, because I just decided to let them go, because after I already got checked up, so there's no point, I would just stay behind. But then everything happened into turn 1. I have no idea what happened there, because I just saw about 5 cars in the gravel.
Yeah.
I was so confused. But then that meant because both me and Jabowski were side by side already into turn one, but then Marcel Miku was on the outside trying to return basically to the track, so we went 3 wide into turn two. And then I also had, I think, Piazza behind me trying to push me forward. So it was almost like 3.5 wide into turn two, which is a hairpin that normally you don't even go, at most you go 2 wide in. So we made another bit of contact. And then even more happened on lap 2. I think Bermuda again went like off the track a bit into turn 6, but then Jabowski was already on his outside, so I chose to brake early into the corner to get a better run. So this time I was on the inside of basically turn 7, or before turn 7, that little kind of kink, little chute. So I was on the inside, but then I don't know what happened. So I went through, but then I think they were going 3 wide behind me again, and then everybody just spun behind me. That's how I got to P3. And then the rest was, I was looking at the gap, and I saw them catching basically, I think Schoenfeld was catching about a second a lap, and then Scalias was catching about 1.5 seconds a lap, so I knew I wouldn't be able to defend the position. But the problem is, I didn't know that they were basically taking turn 5 with a double brake. So the turn 5, the right-hander, right? So I fully brake, downshift to fourth, and then turning. I think my minimum like apex speed is around 150. I think some of them are doing like 165. So basically, Schoenfeld just drove straight into the back of me. But that was okay because he let me go. But the problem is my left rear tire was, I think, up to like 115 degrees or even higher. That meant I just spun in the next right-hander because it doesn't work anymore. It was overheating. So Schoenfeld basically caused the incident, but didn't cause the incident because he did give the position back. But then that meant I had a shockingly high temperature left rear tire. And then I tried to hold my brake after I went off. I think I just avoided Scalias. And then I knew I was sitting on the edge of the track, so I chose to just stop there. Because if I tried to move, that would cause more chaos. So I just sat there until I saw most cars pass. Then I turned myself around. And then we had a great battle with Piazza again for the end of the race, just like last week in Imola. But yeah, I did mess up the final corner. I think I passed him on the final lap into turn 8. But then I was on the wrong line into turn 9. And then turn 10 because I was on the inside trying to defend. So I braked basically too late because I was still using the braking zone as if I was going through the corner on the outside using the normal line. But that was okay. I don't really care about positions. All I care about is having fun and having the fight.
Yes. Any questions from you, Yanis?
So, Marcel Miku, it's been a bit of an up and down kind of race for you, but you've managed to get some consistent finishing positions out of it. Up in the podium finishing positions, P2 to start with and then P1. How do you think this influences your chances at taking the championship win for the rest of the season?
Well, it was actually third. It was actually third on that first run. The second one was a victory, but...
Oh, yeah, of course.
I mean, to be honest, I don't know what's going to happen now, because with everything that's just gone on, I have no idea if I'm actually going to be dropping places or if I'm going to be gaining after everything that's gone through. But in terms of the season looking forward, I mean, it's been a rough start. Not exactly the best start I would have had to any series. But now, with the next few tracks, the confidence is there. Like, I've driven quite a lot around them, and they're a lot more pleasurable in a way. The only trouble track I might be Okayama, because it's going to be, again, first run. I've never raced there at all.
Yeah.
And Red Bull Ring, I don't know how it's going to handle with these cars. Well, to be honest, I don't really know how these cars are going to handle any of the last 5, but I know Spa and to an extent, Barcelona, I do have a bit of knowledge, but I will probably need to just lock in, try to figure out where the issues are, and then just roll with the punches.
Yeah, and I guess that's all everyone else can do as well in their various championship battles, including Wieben Rashto, yours with Severia Piazza. I know he's not too close in the championship standings as of now, but of course, we've had that chat before. He is potentially posing a threat at some point in the far future. So yeah, I reckon it's going to be an interesting final half of the season. You got some tracks with a lot of elevation changes. You've got Spa with Eau Rouge. You've got the Red Bull Ring with that, just up and down and those massive curbs down at turn 1 and the sharp hairpin. Wieben Rashto, any particular tracks that you favour or disfavour in the next half of the season?
Well, I've never driven on Okayama in my life, I don't think. So that would be a brand new experience. Red Bull Ring should be easy in these cars because they can jump the curbs.
Yeah.
I think Road America is an interesting one because, I doubt any people has done the combination of TCR cars on Road America. I think unfortunately they missed Spa because I will run into Las Vegas Grand Prix with F1 because I need to sleep before F1 basically. So I'll be facing the challenge of Okayama the next time I drive a TCR car, and looking forward to that.
Nice. You've got 2 weeks to prepare for that. And then Marcel Miko, I assume we'll see you at Spa next week?
Yeah. Though I would like to say, we haven't seen it yet, but I know Red Bull Ring, there is maybe the likelihood we might actually see some cars tipping over.
Ooh.
I don't think we've seen it yet happen, have we?
No, not majorly. I mean, we might have seen 1 or 2 cars maybe get onto 2 wheels, but I mean, there's a first time for everything, I guess.
Yeah, because I know when I was running the tests at Red Bull Ring, I know there may be an instance into the hairpin where if you just clip it the wrong way, you probably will end up tipping over.
I mean, if we think today was carnage, I want to know what the Red Bull Ring will bring. And to find out, you'll have to come back in, 1, 2, 3 weeks, a month from now. But you don't have to wait that long for racing action because, of course, over the weekend we have our ACC and Le Mans Ultimate races going on as well, those multiple championships. And then, of course, next week, back for some more shared calendars, of course, between Tatus, MX5 and TCR. Everyone heading to Spa for round 6 of their respective championships. And I think we'll have to wrap that up here. I'm aware we've been chatting for quite a while, probably more than 20 minutes now. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us in the commentary box. We really appreciate it whenever you guys come up here to have a chat. Any final words?
Well, I think not really. I think it's just now things are probably going to start evening in my favor. Hopefully the fight will get a bit more intense as time goes on.
Yeah. Fair. Narashto, any final comments?
Good night.
Yep, there it is. Perfect. Exactly that. Belen, any final comments, Arthur?
No, I'm just really looking forward to commentate Spa, Best track in the world.
Oh, yeah. Well, one of them, I consider the Nürburgring to be a sufficient challenger to that. But we can debate all that next week at Spa. We can debate all that on your home soil. In the meantime, you will have to excuse us. We'll all see you next week. This has been Phoenix Sim Sport. This has been Yanis. This has been Arthur, Miku, and Narashto, all in the commentary box for Phoenix Sim Sport at TCR for Season 16. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you all next week at Spa. Good night.